Mega Malamar is one of the worst Mega Evolutions in Pokemon Champions to date. However, I remember seeing a really interesting Mega Malamar team that might be really evil and make this thing an actual threat. We're going to be trying out and seeing how well it can perform. This Rest Psycho Malamar set might be truly diabolical, making Malamar an absolute demon to handle. Well, let us break down this team, as this is going to be a set up the Mega Malamar strat utilizing your Pokemon, which is either going to be through the stat boosts of the Chandelure or Overqwil. This is an infamous minimized team, increasing the evasion, dodge the attacks, put the numbers into your favor. Technically speaking, statistically, you are likely to be hit at one point, but the idea is to set up enough boost to where even if it is a hit, you just have to dodge the crit basically. You have multiple ways of increasing the stats with Overqwil and Chandelure. Moves like Stockpile, able to increase the defenses by one stage. You have Sword Stance to increase the attack stat. You have Minimize to increase the evasion on both Chandelure and the Overqwil, while Chandelure having access to Calm Mind to increase the special attack and special defense stat, while Acid Armor is able to increase the defense stat by +2. Now imagine all of these boosts that are multiplied by double thanks to the Simple Beam from the Autono. And what Simple Beam from Autono is able to accomplish transforms the target's ability into the ability Simple, which means that any stat changes are doubled in effect. So think about Minimize, +2 initially, +4 with Simple. Stockpile +1, +2 in each of the defense every time you use it. Think of Acid Armor +2 in the defenses, +4 instead. Calm Mind +2 in special attack, +2 in special defense. It is really effective. So even if Overqwil and Chandelure aren't the bulkiest Pokemon initially, if you are able to set up with this simple strat, you are able to increase those stats and then pass it off to Malamar with the Psych Up to copy the stat changes of the target. Can be really effective for allowing Malamar plus one of your partners to really be able to run away with the game. So that's the idea behind this entire strategy. In order to enable the Autono for setting up the Trick Room, so the Chandelure and Overqwil, which are pretty slow mons, can get the Simple, then you psych up with the Malamar. So in order to help set up the Trick Room and allow Autono to safely set up Trick Room, we have access to the Whimsicott that has access to Light Clay, Light Screen, which is an interesting tech, but I guess if you're clicking Memento, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Memento is a move that is able to sacrifice the Whimsicott in trade of being able to lower the target's attack and special attack by 2 stages, which can be really nice, getting rid of a sweeper that can initially do a ton of damage to Autono, make it so it does a lot less, and then Taunt to prevent stuff like any taunts on the opposing side or potential haze from like Milotic. Dragapult, which is really nice because it does have access to screens to allow Autono and the rest of the team to take bulkier attacks. Wisp, which is pretty nice to burn the physical attackers. And then Curse, because any Pokemon you might want to force to switch can be really nice because that can buy turns, allowing your Minimize to be more effective. So Chandelure and Overqwil can actually just set up those stats, which is pretty great. EV spreads. It's not anything too crazy. The Whimsicott going with max HP, max speed, just so with a fast Memento you do have access to, and of course speed time for the taunt with Prankster can be important. The Dragapult is just going to be really fast to be able to outspeed the base 135s, set up the screens, burn stuff like Megalopony, just take attacks in general. And then the Autono going to go with a lot of special defense because Charizard is a thing in this format, and you do have access to Wisp with Dragapult as well as the screen, so you can definitely take attacks pretty well with the Autono. Chandelure is going to be the more especially defensive set because if you go for an Acid Armor +4, you're going to be able to take the attacks pretty well for the most part. So going with the special defense to be able to tank on attacks from the special attackers a bit better. And then the Overqwil also just going to be taking the special attacks as well, like especially those fairy type moves, which are super threatening, probably the most threatening, and you do resist like Kowtow Cleave from King Gambit, which is already a big one, and Last Respect from Basket Legion. Special defense is pretty nice. You also have the Intimidate from Overqwil to help. And then the Malamar is just going to be physically defensive on this team. It's especially defensive, I guess, because you can still just go for the Psych Up and ideally just copy the stat changes anyway. It doesn't really matter too much, but of course Kowtow Cleave is going to be a big one from King Gambit that can actually hit the Malamar. So being able to take on the Kowtow Cleaves, which is the way that you can actually bypass the Minimize strategy because it ignores the evasion checks. So that's the idea of why you are going to be running defense on the Malamar instead of special defense here. but a lot of the strat on this team does usually just involve leading Autono next to either one of Dragapult or Whimsicott, trying to set up, allowing Autono to set up Trick Room, go for the simple beam into your partner. One of Chandelure or Overqwil is going to be brought, depending on which one you think is better into the team. Set up your minimizes, set up your stab boosting moves, and then Malamar will come in, click Psych Up, and that is the entire strategy here. But yeah, this is a truly diabolical team. It does rely on quite a bit of RNG. My RNG is not exactly that great, but luckily it's not too hard to pilot, fortunately. And also, I am still a little bit sick, so I do apologize in advance if my gameplay and commentary aren't exactly on point today. But let's get started and play some games. All right, so we have Sinister, Clefable, Grimmsnarl, Mousehold, Skullvillain, and Annihilate. So I'm curious, this should probably just be, I'd assume it is going to be the Annihilate, just set it up with the Rage Fist and all that. Okay. Because usually it's like Mouse 8, beat up Rage Fist, they have a lot of support, so it's really just a heavy commitment on Annihilate in general. Okay. What do I want to go against this team? Probably Whimsicott. Autono doesn't sound too bad here. Redirection would be really nice. I could also just burn the Annihilate if possible with the lead here, because I could lead the Dragapult and then threaten the Willisp always, and that would be pretty good for me actually. Really tempted. Because if I burn the Annihilate, that'd be really nice for the team in general. A lot of different ways I could play this actually. Tough. I think I'm gonna do Dragapult plus the Audino lead with Malamar and which one do I want? Chandelure? Do I want my? I think Chandelure is always the play over Overqwil. I think Chandelure is more consistent. The reason I'm going to go with this is because I like the idea of threatening the Willow-Spin to the Annihilate, because if the Mousehold goes for beat up, then the Annihilate gets burned, which is pretty big because Audino kind of walls the Annihilate, and then if they decide to go for follow me, that means the Annihilate can't do that much damage. Grimmsnarl leads. I'm kind of curious if this is going to be some Misty Terrain version. Probably not. They don't usually carry it, so I'm just going to go for a Willisp immediately into the Annihilate, and I am going to go for... Do I want to Trick Room immediately? Trick Room isn't too bad here. Yeah, I like the idea of Trick Room immediately. So I think I'm going to go for Trick Room. Yeah, I'm going to go for Willows and Trick Room. Let's see what they do, because this is pretty good for me if I get to burn into Annihilate and the Trick Room setup. Seems pretty solid. Okay, they go for Fake Out and Audino, which is completely fine. I do not mind that. As we do land a Willows, which is not surprising because I do have Wide Lens on the Dragapult, so it's very likely I hit Willows into the Annihilate. Beautiful. And we're going to see the bulk up. No, they go for Drain Punch immediately, which is cool because the Audino takes no damage. And now that Annihilate's in a really awkward position right here. So I like the idea here of just being able to go out into my Chandelure, I think. And I'm going to go for a Simple Beam into the Dragapult slot. I think this is always my best play. The thing is, I want to get the Simple Beam before they get a switch into a Redirect Mon. So that's kind of why I'm going for the Simple Beam, because they might Parting Shot out here. But let's see. Chandelure coming in. Reflect. Okay, this is super ideal. And I mean super ideal, because I'm going to be able to get a Simple Beam off into Chandelure and then start setting up. They're going to go for Drain Punch again, and Audino's just heating that up. Realistically, we are taking that with no problems whatsoever. And we will get the Simple Beam off into the Chandelure. So now we have a Chandelure that has Simple, and now we execute the plan here of just going for the Acid Armor immediately, just making sure that they can't do much here, and we will go for a Trick Room here with the Audino. Yep, I like that a lot. There's not really much that they can do to punish this, and they can't knock out the Audino here. They're going to set up a screen, so this is completely fine, because I don't really care about that screen if I'm setting up. They're going to go for Drain Punch again. Audino is able to take that. Beautiful, as I am going to be able to get the Acid Armor set up, start setting up the Calm Minds. And ooh, I'm really liking the Malamar here, as Acid Armor going to come out from the Chandelure and just be able to be a very nice sequence here with the Trick Room coming up. And now Chandelure gonna be boosting here, and I mean boosting. I'm gonna go for a Calm Mind because I get more stats this way than just the Acid Armor here. And we're going to switch out the Autono because we might as well just go out into the Malamar and start going for those Psych-Ups into that Chandelure. So let's see what they decide here. As we bring in the Malamar, this also denies Parting Shot, I guess, but they actually hard swap in the Grim, which is fine, into Clefable. So the Clefable probably has an Unaware, which is okay, but yeah, I really don't mind this right now because the Chandelure is in a very comfortable spot and the Annihilate has not gotten any boost. It is burned. It's going for a Drain Punch into Malamar, which does absolutely no damage. Beautiful. I'm kind of curious if they're going to go for Follow Me or if they're going to go for a Moonblast. Now, Moonblast is going to do a lot of damage. I won't get that wrong. It is going to do a ton of damage here. But I should be good. I could also try to preserve here the Malamar as much as possible. I think I probably just want to go for... This is probably Unaware Clef. I'd be very shocked if it is an Unaware Clef. Do I want to just Flamethrower here and get the damage? And then... A lot of plays that I do have access to. I think they either Moonblast or they Follow Me here. So I think I go for... You know what? I'm just going to Flamethrower to Clefable. And you know what? I'm going to... Do I want to Heart Swap? Nah, I'm going to go for Psych-Up, actually. I'm going to go for Psych-Up. I'm going to go for the Psych-Up into the Chandelure because I get the Flamethrower damage and I get the Psych-Up, which means I potentially could go for Store Power depending on how bulky this Clefable is for a knockout, which I think is... Oh my goodness. What? I got played. I got played. Why do you have Psych-Up on the Clef? There's no way. Oh, it definitely has Unaware too. I have not seen Psych-Up Clef. Why is it Psych-Up Clef? Oh my god. Oh, I might have just lost unless I crit the Clef here. Because it is boosted Moonblast. Oh, you can't be serious. I can't figure a way out. I'm trying to think of like, there's a sack line that I have. I don't have a line. I need to crit the Clef with, I need Chandelure to win the game. Malamar, unfortunately, the one match you fight here, the first one is freaking against Clefable. They crit anyway, but like, I'm pretty sure it's Unaware Clef based on the damage. If I'm going for a chance, I have to go for like a crit with my Chandelure. I do have a line technically that I can still win against this Clef. It's looking really bad, but like it's potentially winnable. So we have to go out into Autono here, or do I go out into my... I might go out into Dragon Bolt depending on do I think Autono's the best. I think Autono is probably the best. Yeah, I think Autono is the best. The reason is I could get rid of Unaware on the Clefable for going for a Simple Beam here, which might be my best play here. Yeah, I think that's my best play. I think I'm going to go for a Calm Mind, and I think I'm going to go for a Simple Beam into the Autono to get rid of Unaware. Then I'm hoping +6 Flamethrower can knock out the Clefable. That's my best line here, I'm pretty sure. Hopefully they don't go for Psych-Up again. I hope they just Moonblast. Oh my god. Okay. Luckily, wait, what is this Clefable set? Why is it Psych-Up Store Power Moonblast? Does it even have Follow Me? I don't even know if it has Follow Me at this point. I don't mind him knocking out the Autono. That's completely fine. Because the Annihilate Beam and a +1 attack isn't threatening too much. I guess this is a Chandelure game. Maybe Chandelure can win this. I think Chandelure actually might just win this. Assuming we knock out the Clef here, which we probably do, but not 100% certain. We go out into Dragapult. We go for a Flamethrower into the Clefable. Thank goodness I didn't go for Minimizes. Imagine if I went for Minimizes. I'm going to go for Does reflect even matter here, or should I just light screen? Do I knock out the Clefable, I guess is the good question. I mean, do I even live a Moonblast at +2 with Dragapult with light screen up? I feel like the answer might be no. So I think it's just better to get Reflect up for Annihilate because I can probably two-shot the Clefable realistically. Clefable's going to retreat because it wants to keep the unaware. That makes sense. So Grimmsnarl going to come out. I don't mind this technically, but actually, yeah, I don't mind this, but I have to get knockouts and get a curse off into Clefable. I think that's basically how I'm going to be able to win. Rage Fist comes out, but Reflect is up, so we take that with ease. Yep, perfect. Like, what is this? What is this step in, man? Flamethrower gonna come out in a Grimmsnarl. Does a lot of damage, doesn't take a knockout, which is fine. Okay, I guess we get a light screen up here and we get to go for the KO into the Grim, or do I want to go for the KO into Annihilate? No, I go for the KO into Grim because I probably don't even KO the Annihilate here. So we go for light screen and we go for Flamethrower into Grimmsnarl. Annihilate gonna retreat. Is this Clefable? Sinistra. Okay, that's fine. I get a free Flamethrower into the Grimmsnarl, which is perfect actually. I'll take that. They went for light screen. I guess they don't have any attacking moves? Like, I'm just confused by this Clef, man. I'm just confused by this Clef. I get a light screen up. We get a Flamethrower into the Grim. Goodbye, Grim. Okay. So Sinistra back makes this a lot easier because Flamethrower is going to KO. Also, Light Screen is about to wear off soon. Because Reflect wears off, I can soon go for Flamethrowers that are good into the Clef and be solid. If I get rid of the Clef, I'm in a great shape. So we go for a Flamethrower into the Sinistra and we go for a Curse into the Clefable. Yeah. That's basically the line here. Ah, they went for a Rage Powder. I was hoping they wouldn't Rage Powder. I was hoping they might go for Protect, but that's fine. I do go for a Curse into the Sinistra. I can go for a Curse again into Clefable, but I really need Chandelure to clutch up against this Clefable. I don't know if it does, realistically. We do KO the Sinistra, because the Store Power is going to be way more powerful than it was previously, based on the damage. Psych Up. Star Power might actually just one-shot. Maybe I had to Wisp earlier. Although we do have Light Screen up on the bright side. I think I am forced to Curse, though. I don't think I have the luxury to wait around for a Wisp. Yeah. I think I either need to crit the Clef. Actually, I think I have to crit the Clef, or... yeah, I just have to crit the Clef, I think. Or just hope that Stored Power just doesn't do enough. So I think that's like the only hope that I have here at this point. All right, we're gonna curse this Clef. I am very much cursing this Clef. Let this Chandelure crit the Flamethrower, but I don't even think that's enough. The question is how much does Stored Power do? Because we do have Light Screen up. Rage Fist should do nothing. Yeah, it does nothing. Okay. Here's a Flamethrower. This is against +6 Clefable, though. Yeah, I don't get the crit. Stored Power. Unfortunately, Chandelure did not survive. I can't believe the first time I use this, I'm facing this random Clef that has Psych Up Stored Power. Sure. That's my ladder luck sometimes. All right, we have the Sneasler, Golden Go, Gyarados, Sinistra, Raichu, and Pelipper. So this is a scary team because it's got 2 Mega Evolutions. Both are actually scary. Gyarados Mega is not easy, and then the Raichu has no guard access. So that could be a little bit troublesome, actually. Okay. They also have the Golden Go, which doesn't make this an easy one per se. I think my best combo is probably just trying to set up with Chandelure stuff. It's probably just Dragapult lead here. So I can get a screen up with Audino, have Malamar plus the Chandelure back, I think. Because I'm not really a big fan of Overqwil here. Overqwil doesn't do too much. Yeah, I think that's the play. So lead Audino plus the Dragapult, go Chandelure, and Malamar back. Raichu is going to be a big concern. I have to make sure that Mon is checked. I do have access to give Simple Beam to Raichu at least for the minimize, if I want to go the minimize route. I'm probably just going to try to set up like Calm Minds as quickly as possible realistically, because I feel like once I get Calm Minds, it's really hard for my opponent to break through the Malamar, but we'll see. Ideally, paras don't become a huge factor here. It's not too bad in a Malamar because of rest, but Pelipper also does have access to 100% Hurricane, so I think the ideal option is to get the Calm Minds up as immediate as possible, ideally with Light Screen. So that's the idea here. Golden Go going to be a little bit tricky here because Golden Go is a Pokemon that can just Shadow Ball through my team, and that is not going to be easy, but let's see. I can't exactly lead Chandelure, I think, into Rain. Sneeze or Golden Go, okay. Against Audino and Dragapult. This is not going to be an easy time. I think I have to go for a Wisp here. So the Golden Go is probably clicking Nasty Plot. The Sneezer could click Fake Out or Close Combat. There's not really much to say here. I think I'm just going to try to attempt to Trick Room here and go for a Will-O-Wisp here. There's not really much that I can really say. Because I need the Audino to live a double up of Close Combat plus Make It Rain. So I think if they go for Fake Out Nasty Plot, I can go for Light Screen plus Trick Room, and Audino might be able to survive the next turn. And if they go for Close Combat immediately, I do get the Trick Room up guaranteed, which is actually good. So I think that's like my hope here. And if I miss Wisp, I just lose. Okay. Great game. Wait, they went for Poison Jab because they thought I was Mega. Okay. That's fine. Oh, that's really good. This game like completely flipped. This game completely flipped. I don't know if I'll still win this because... Actually, no, I will win this probably just because the Golden Go got Curse Bodied, which is really lucky here. Okay. But I mean, I was expecting a lot of plays. That was not one of them. All right. We got to go out on Chandelure here and start clicking the Calm Minds plus Simple Beam. Or I could go for Minimize, but I think I'd rather go for Calm Minds immediately. We're going to go for Simple Beam and we're going to go for Calm Mind. Ideally, they KO the Audino, so I get a free switch to Malamar, but it's not the worst if they don't. But, okay. I thought after the start, it was like... Because I was expecting Close Combat to blow up the Audino. I thought oh, did they go for Close Combat? Make it rain. But okay, interesting Protect because I don't get why wasting the turns with Golden Go here. But it works out. I get the Simple Beam off with the Chandelure, and now I have Simple Chandelure that's able to Calm Mind up very safely against my opponent. And I'm feeling pretty good now. I am feeling pretty good. Okay. I guess the question is, do I want to hard switch to Malamar the next turn on to Make It Rain potential? But I think that's fine. They go for the Poison Jab, which is cool. Chandelure takes it. Poison, but I don't remember. Did we confirm Poison Touch? It probably is Poison Touch realistically, but Lumberry allows me to basically play around that. Okay, yeah, we confirm it's Poison Touch if we didn't already. Healer? Healer? Can we get some healers? Nope, that's fine still. I can go for a Calm Mind again or Acid Armor. I think I could go for Minimize too. Minimize is not a bad play here. I think I'll go for Minimize this turn. And I'll keep Audino on the field because if they leave Audino alone, I can get the healer off on the Chandelure. I need Chandelure to be healthy before Malamar. I'm a bit worried. Even if I go for Minimize, Poison Jab, Make a Rain plus Poison does enough to Chandelure where it gets a knockout here. So I'd rather just go for Heal Pulse into Chandelure this turn, potentially remove the Poison if Audino survives the turn, which should be fine. Because I don't think Golden Go can really afford to stay in. And if it stays in, that's fine. I can Flamethrower it next turn and Heart Swap, which is fine. So here comes Minimize. They go for Make It Rain, which is perfect too. Yeah. So I do not mind that because the Golden Go is now minus... What are you minus? -2? Yeah, just -2. They go for Close Combat on the Audino slot, which is good for me. Cool. We go into Malamar, we click Psych Up, and we click Acid Armor. Yeah, we're gonna go for Psych Up here. I wish I was able to get the Acid Armor before the Psych Up. That's the only thing I wish could happen, but we will go for Psych Up in the Chandelure. And we're gonna go for Acid Armor. Or do I go for Calm Mind again? I think I'd rather go for Calm Mind again, realistically. I think I'm gonna go... Actually, no, I would want Acid Armor. I want the defense boost, I'm pretty sure. On the Chandelure. Sneaser's gonna retreat, which is fine. Is this Pelipper? Gyarados, okay. So that's fine. I do wish I did have the Acid Armor boost before on the Malamar, but granted, I still think this is pretty good, especially because I can start superpowering the Gyarados slot. And if this is Mega Gyarados and they didn't bring the Raichu, I'm in a really good spot, but let's see. We will psych up our Chandelure and get the Acid Armor, so we're now +4. They go for Make It Rain, but the Make It Rain's just not doing any damage here. Like, they double miss, although it wasn't really doing too much damage regardless. Golden Go's no longer disabled. Is this last turn Trick Room? It is not. I think I psych up the Chandelure again because I do need to, and let's go for a Flamethrower, I think, into the Golden Ghost slot. I don't want to get greedy with minimizes if I don't have to. I want to start getting knockouts, and they could switch out back into Sneasler, for instance, on the Golden Go. I don't want to give, like, the Gyarados coaching boost if it's coaching Sneasler for free with Sash. So if they switch in Sneasler, I would like to get rid of that Focus Sash. I just assume they're never protected at this point. So I'm going to psych up again just to get the defense boost because it's important against the Gyarados. Flamethrower will KO the Golden Go with ease, so Golden Go goes down. My stored power is looking pretty good. I wonder if it would one-shot this Gyarados. That's a good question. They hit the waterfall, but I should live because of the Acid Armor. Yep. Okay, I think the only threat here... Is it Pelipper or is it Raichu back is the question. Probably is Raichu, right? If they're playing like this. Sneasler, okay. Sneasler needs a lot of things to go right for them. I think my best play is just to store power to Gyarados because I don't think they're keen on Mega Evolving at this point, and we're going to go for a Flamethrower to break a Sash on the Sneasler. I am playing a bit greedy, but I am hoping they don't connect and get the Poison Touch. They are getting very lucky with the Gyarados, but that's fine. So Chandelure goes down. I am going to be able to get stored power off into Gyarados. Let's see if Malamar can beat this. Whoo! Goodbye, Gyarados. That is one of the most specially defensive Pokemon out there. Just gone. Well, I guess like base 100. I mean, base 100 is solid. Is it Raichu? If it's not Raichu, it is Raichu. Yeah, okay. So it's just me store powering the Raichu slot. And it comes down to hits from the Sneasler specifically. But even then, it's mainly the poison stuff because I do have +4 defense. I'm not really too worried. And I have +2 special defense with the Malamar right now. So I should be able to blow up. Odds mathematically are probably my favorite because they also have to hit with the... Also, actually, if they Zap Cannon the... Actually, if they Zap Cannon here, my Malamar, then they can't poison me, which is kind of big. So as long as... They went for Fake Out and they hit it. That's unlucky. They went for Coaching for some reason, though. Okay. I don't know why they went for Coaching. The attack and defense boost don't change anything here. I thought they were going to go for Fake Out because I thought they were going to go for the poison stuff because I think the poison's better for them than the poison's better than the para. But then again, I do have rest on the Malamar and I always do forget about this. So I can rest up on the poison. So I think as long as I break through the Raichu, I'm fine. Yeah, because Zap Cannon gets the para, so now they can't poison me. I mean, they're hitting their attacks, but that's fine. Yeah, that does no damage to Malamar. Please? Nice. That should just OHKO. Beautiful. And now Malamar should pretty much win. They have to hit and crit, basically, which Super unlikely. I'm going to go for a superpower because it should be Sash on the Sneasler based on Poison Touch, usually always running Sash. And they're going to forfeit because the odds are really low. They should always go for it, but surprised they didn't. But what a game, man. That turn 1 really swung. Like, I really thought I just lost on the Wismiss. All right, we have Scizor, Milotic, Pelipper, Basculegion, Sneasler, and Manectric. This can be pretty scary. They do have accurate coverage with Thunder on Manectric, and they also have access to Hurricane on Pelipper and Rain, and it could be Haze Milotic. So a lot of things that could go wrong here if I'm not careful. Okay, lead-wise, I'm thinking we're probably just going with the same route. I'm not really too comfortable with the Whimsicott mode, although Whimsicott could be led here and just click Taunt, which isn't terrible here. It might be better than just like Wisp on Dragapult. Like, the only lead I could see maybe it's better is into Scizor specifically. Maybe it's Whimsicott Auto-No here. I think Whimsicott Auto-No might be okay. I think I'm gonna lead Whimsicott Auto-No, have Malamar plus Overqwil back. Let's see if this works out, because the ideal situation is to set up enough quickly to break through the Milo as quick as possible. Because if they lead Milo, I do want to click Taunt into the Milotic immediately, because that's going to be a big one. That's going to be an absolute big one. Because that will prevent Haze. Although, I don't know if I'll run Haze on this team. We'll see. But... a lot of Milotics have been running Haze on one team specifically, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's Haze on the Milo here, so I just got to be a little bit cautious. Dragapult Scream would be kind of nice, but I don't think it's necessary here, although it would help against the Basculegion because Wave Crash Adaptability would be really powerful, but if it's Wisp-Swim Life Orb, I think Auto-No should survive. Okay, they lead Pelipper plus the Scizor, which isn't too bad for me. Okay, I do lead the... Milo plus, or not Milo, the Whimsicott plus Auto-No, which isn't great, but like I think this is okay. I have a few different plays here that I can go for. I'm thinking like the best play here for me is to probably just go for a... I want the free switch to Overqwil immediately, I think. I think my best play is just to Memento the Scizor slot and go out in and go for Trick Room. I don't think they're hard switching to Milo. I really would hope they don't. I need to make sure the Scizor damage output I think is kind of checked at the current moment. So I think this is the best option that I have here. I could simply go for it into Pelipper, but I don't think it's too bad. Let's see. So we'll Memento this Scizor. Ironically, Dragapult would have been better here because I could Wisp the Scizor immediately and then Light Screen up if I wanted to, but I think this is still okay. Whimsicott goes down, which is acceptable, and then we're going to see the Bullet Punch. Okay, they targeted the Whimsicott, I suppose. Okay, that's fine. Because Hurricane will not KO the Auto-No. Yep. And then we get Trick 'em Up. I was too worried about close combat doing too much damage, so that's why I wanted to get a Memento off into Scizor. So now we can go out into Overqwil. It's -3 on this Scizor. I gotta be a little bit cautious though, because if there is a Haze Milo in the back, it is still pretty tough, but unfortunately there's not much I can do here. We're gonna set up our stockpile, I think, and we're gonna go for a Simple Beam. On the bright side, if it is Milo, I think I could still probably beat it, but okay, Sneasler? I'm thinking there's no Milo, because I think if they thought about the simple stuff, I'm pretty sure they would have brought Milo. So I am going to be able to get the simple off into the Overqwil, and I am going to be able to get to this stockpile. So now we are at +2 in the defenses. We should be taking attacks very well. They go for Weather Ball and Auto-No, that's fine. Which KOs, which is actually kind of perfect because now I get a free switch. Okay, so we've relied all our baskets here on this, but again, that's kind of like how this kind of goes game plan wise. We bring in the Malamar. Do I want to minimize or do I want to just stockpile again? I'd rather just stockpile again, realistically, I think. Now the question is, do I want to go for Psych up here, or do I want to superpower break a sash on Sneasler? I think I'd rather just Psych up, right? Because we don't know who has a sash between the Pelipper and the Sneasler, and if the Sneasler is not sash, I think it goes down to stored power, so it might be worth going for. And if they go for fake out, that's fine. Okay, here comes stockpile again. +4 on deck. Weather ball, that's fine. Actually takes a lot more damage than I thought. Okay. We might have to get a little bit lucky here, but right now we go for a minimize and a psych up, and the Malamar should be in a pretty good spot because we'll be able to eat up a lot of attacks here realistically with the minimize on the overquill. So here comes the minimize. We have +4 now, so they go for a weather ball attempt again. 1, they have to hit, and 2, we also have like the defense boost now as they go for weather ball. Perfect. Nice. Now the question is, do I want to... Probably I just go for... I think I set up a Swords Dance here with Overquill, and I think I try to store power the Pelipper. It's the last turn of rain, so they don't have many efficient turns here. I kind of like the idea of seeing where's the sash potentially, but I also like getting the damage in the Pelipper because the hurricane and the rain with thunder is going to be really annoying for this minimized stuff. So I think I might as well just try to remove the Pelipper if I can. It is sash on the Pelipper. Okay. I get a critical hit. It doesn't really matter because it is sash. They get a hurricane that's accurate now, but then they have a very inaccurate the next turn. They go for a weather ball instead of hurricane again. They hit it, but like it does no damage here, so that's fine. Okay. Okay. They hit both moves. Acceptable. That's fine. I guess we're gonna minimize again with Overquill just as a back. Actually, no. We should try to KO the Pelipper if possible because it is the source of all the accurate moves. And then we're gonna rest with Malamar and attempt to get this rest off. Okay, perfect. Direct Claw, I don't even think KO'd. I think they had to close combat. You can't be serious. You can't be serious. You cannot be serious. They went for raw hurricane out of rain and hit the +4. Okay. All right. Overkill, you have to carry, man. This is the reason why I never used a minimized team till now. It's because I know my luck with this stuff. Okay, at least they don't have any accurate stuff anymore. We have a +2 Overquill. It might still be probably a really likely position where we win, but we'll see. Scizor comes in. I need all the luck I can get, so I will go for a minimize again. We also have the defense boost, so I think this is the right play. Luckily, we can't get poisoned or anything. They go for Dire Claw, hoping for para or sleep, I guess, and the Swords Dance. Yeah, that's fine. Because again, the likelihood of them hitting is a bit unlikely right here. I think I just go for a stockpile now to get the final stockpile, and then I go for another Swords Dance and spam Throat Chop. Kind of curious what their last mon is. It's not Magnetric actually, or it could be Magnetric, I guess. They could bring regular Magnetric for Thunder. Okay, they go for Bug Bites. They hit it, but like we do have the defenses up for a reason, and we'll have more defenses now. I don't know if +2 Throat Chop 2-shot Scizor. Mega Scizor is pretty bulky, so I would say no. I think I'd rather just go for +4 and then start Throat Chopping. So that's what I'm gonna do here. All right. So let's see if Overquill can clutch this. I was hoping to have Malamar next to Overquill, but you know, sometimes it just happens. Sometimes you get the bad coin flips. So we will get the Swords Dance with the Overquill. Now we have Overquill being a threat, and we go for the Throat Chop into the Scizor. So we will go for Throat Chop. How much do we do? We'll easily 2-shot the Scizor. I don't know if +6 would. They go for Dire Claw, they connect. You can't poison the poison type. They're landing all their attacks, which is it's quite something. But okay, here goes a Throat Chop. I'm surprised that KO. Okay, I was about to say, like, I'm shocked that KO'd. Okay. Critical hit. That's huge. Now it's looking really tough for them to knock out the Overquill. That's at +6 defenses, +6 evasion. So it's Basket Legion back too. It's not even Milotic, so it probably didn't have Haze, which I didn't think it would have Haze on this team, but you never know because Milotic on Rain is already kind of not something you commonly see as much. So let's see, Basket Legion. I mean, I probably should be turning down the Sneasel, but Wave Crash probably does a lot with adaptability more than close combats. I think this is better. They're going for Dire Claws, hoping for Paras or something, but Drill Chop gonna come out. KO the Basket Legion. It was probably Scarf because we saw it move before the Sneasler, so didn't have to worry there. And now Overquill will win, so not looking good for Malamar, I will say, but at least Overquill was kind of able to clutch up there. I still can't believe they hit the Hurricane. I still can't believe they hit the Hurricane at +4 evasion, man. I can't. All right, we have Dragonite, Eternal Floette, Basket Legion, Whimsicott, Hisuian Arcanine, King Gambit. Okay, what a team. What a team. I'm curious if it's Whimsicott or if it's... I'm thinking it's Whimsicott. Or if it's Dragapult, because I could either Light Screen or I can Memento. I think I like Memento a bit more. I think I lead Whimsicott plus Audino, which seems probably the best here, because I'm like debating about like, okay, Floette lead, Eternal Ruin, which is fine. I think Whimsicott plus Audino is fine. With Overquill, because the Chandelure is very susceptible to King Gambit Kowtow Cleave, and then bring the Malamar back. I think this is the best way to go. Like, Chandelure is really hard at setting up against this team specifically. Overquill has a much easier time because it's not as threatened by attacks. The only mons that's really threatened by are like Dragonite and the Eternal Floette. Also, we don't have to worry about Encore, which is nice. So Whimsicott plus Floette. So there was a world where I led Dragapult so I could just Light Screen immediately, but I think this is fine too because I'll definitely be able to survive attacks with the Audino by going for Memento. I could actually... Do I want a Memento or do I want a Light Screen? A Light Screen would be not bad here either. I think I'd rather just Memento though. The Floette and Trick Room. Yeah, I like that a lot. Because I like the idea of just getting the free switch. I could definitely see Light Screen being useful in some cases, but I don't think it's necessary right now. I guess the problem is how am I knocking out the Floette quickly so Malamar can do its thing. That's the only big concern. You do get the Memento. They did probably just went for Moonblast Light of Ruin, I imagine. I will survive with my... I will survive here with my Audino, which is fine. Moonblast. Did a lot, but that's because of the Ruin. That's fine. Oh, they went for Dazzle. Like, if I went for a Light Screen, like, what was I clicking with Audino was the question. Also, my camera froze at the funny moment. Okay. Okay, now it's working. We go Overquill. Okay. Intimidate doesn't really matter here. We're going to go for a simple Stockpile into the Overquill and get the Simple Beam off. If they try to Encore, that's fine with... That's fine. They retreat the... Floette, which makes sense. They're going to go out into King Gambit. Sure. They Encore, but I do have access to Mental Herb, so I am immune to that. And what's nice is I don't have to worry about the Floette nearly as much. So we will get this Mental Herb active, and we will go for a Simple Beam into the Overquill. Now, getting rid of the fairies is still going to be a little bit annoying, but granted, this is still pretty acceptable for me. So I think we go for Stockpile again and go hard Malamar? Or do we sack Audino here? I think it's probably better to protect and then hard swap to Malamar, but there is a world they could go hard into Floette, but it looks like they're not taking it, which is nice, okay? Iron Head to connect. That's fine. Oh, well, they're going to connect because I'm not going for evasion. That's a bad flinch. Okay, if they're targeting the Overquill, I can probably get Malamar in safely. That's really annoying, actually. That's really annoying because I'm going to have to trace that with my Malamar. Oh man, the fact that I have to trace -2 from the from the simple beam special attack drop is gonna matter for stored power. That's really bad, actually. Okay, they encore me. Nice. Attempting to encore and to protect. That's also why I want to go for the protect, because it was baiting a potential situation like that. Nice. We do get the minimize. Okay, still not an easy situation, but still better. The problem is I was hoping to KO the flow with restored power in the future parts of this game. It doesn't look likely I'll be able to do that anymore. So I'm going to go for stockpile again because I want the safety, and I'm going to go for a psych up into the Overquill. They're probably going to go out into... Okay, they're not going flow it, which is nice for me. I guess the thing is they do have Kowtow Cleave from Malamar, so they might be trying to go for the Kowtow Cleave plus Moonblast, but that's fine. They go for Iron Head into Malamar, okay. They're going for the flinch, I suppose. We do get the stockpile once again. Nice. We do get the psych up off, which is huge. They still land through the minimize, but that's fine since I should tank it, yeah. Oh, that's the one time I want the Moonblast special attack drop. Okay, okay. Okay. I guess the question is, what do I want to do now? I guess I want to... Do I think stored power is better than a Whimsicott? Or is it to superpower here? Because superpower gives me more stats. Although I think I'm probably tracing the Overquill in the future turns, which is fine, I suppose. I'm going to go for stored power in the Whims. They retreat the King Gambit. They're going on a Floet. Okay, that makes sense. They have access to Fairy Aura, but it shouldn't change anything for this turn at least, because I don't think Whimsicott even KO'd. Even if it landed that, we get the stored power off. Into the Whimsicott. Good damage. Here comes the minimize again. So now we are at +6 evasion on the Overquill. So now I'm going to go for one more stockpile for the boost, and I'm going to go for a psych up into Overquill for safety. Because if we dodge the Floet move here, then I think I can rest with Malamar. Moonblast into Malamar. Nice. Nice. Malamar dodging these fairy type moves. We are getting the psych up here. So now we're +6. Very less likely for them to connect. And we do get the third stockpile. So now Overquill can just set up sword stances pretty easily. And we can click whatever with Malamar. Well, I think we're going to go for stored power into Floet. Because we would like to remove the Floet, because that thing is the most likely thing that can nuke us, especially if they crit us. So that's usually the name of the game here. I wonder if we'll two-shot the Floet. I want to say probably... Actually, no. With the extra boost, we probably should. Moonblast and Overquill. Light of Ruin. Nice. Here's the stored power. Yeah, I didn't think we did. Sword stance up with the Overquill, and now we just spam stuff, realistically. Not much that we need to do here. Yeah, now this is fun. This is fun. I'm gonna go for Throat Chop into the Flood as well as stored power, I think. Yeah. Because if we KO the Flood this turn, like even if they hit attacks in the future, it's fine. They go for Moonblast. Malamar dodges. Light of Ruin again. Malamar dodges. Okay, Malamar. Now you learned how to use your body. You're nimble now. You're nimble. You know how to dodge attacks now. Here comes a Throat Chop. KO's a Floette. Goodbye, Floette. Okay. So Floette gone, and now feeling pretty good. Because King Gambit, I just superpower. What's your last? Basculegion. Should be fine with the Overquill. Because I don't think they can knock out either of my Pokemon unless they go for crits now. But King Gambit coming in. We're going to go for... Do I want to throw up the Whims? I mean... Yeah, I don't think I need the boost on anything. Yeah, I don't think I need the boost anymore. So I think I'm just going to go for Superpower and the Throat Chop. I guess I could double the Gambit since it might be the... They went for Sucker Punch, okay. I mean, I guess if they hit both Moonblast plus Sucker, I don't know if that KOs. I don't think that would have KO'd. They still need a crits. Superpower gonna come out into Gambit. Does a lot of damage. Perfect. And then we'll KO the Whimsicott. And this duo, Evil. Goodbye, Whimsicott. Whimsicott goes down. And that should be game, I think. Because even if Basculegion comes in. Okay, the way I lose is Basculegion comes in. It Wave Crash crits my Overquill for the KO. And then, like, that could be a bit of an issue. But yeah, let's just hope they don't do that. I'm going to go for Throat Chop into the Basculegion. I'm going to superpower the Gambit. I mean, even if they do Wave Crash crit theoretically my Overquill, then I could probably just rest up with Malamar. So I think I'd be fine there too. Because I'd get the superpower off, then I'd probably be in a situation where I can rest with Malamar, and then it's like, again, super mathematical odds. They probably need to crit again, and again, it might depend on the Basculegion item, because maybe the crit doesn't even knock out the... Actually, crit should knock out Malamar. I'd assume so, but I guess it depends on like their item. I think Jolly Scarf maybe I could survive, but you know, we just dodge attacks. That's all we need. Alright, Whimsicott, Sylveon, King Gambit, Charizard, Basculegion, Garchomp. Okay, no Aerodactyl, no Floette. It's a little bit of a mixture, but okay. It's a little bit weird because Chandelure is really good into the... I mean, Chandelure would be really good into the Charizard, but it's not really great into Gambit, which makes this a little bit strange. I'm probably leading Dragapult here because Dragapult can set up a light screen, which is pretty good against my opponent's team. I guess my question is, am I bringing Overquill? Am I bringing Chandelure? I could see myself even bringing both potentially if I really, really want to, but probably laying away from that. I think this is like try to set up an Overquill game. I think it's like Dragapult Autono with Overquill plus Malamar back. I think setting up screens is going to be really important so I can actually absorb Weather Balls and Moonblast pretty importantly. I'm kind of curious on what they lead here because I think their strongest damage dealer is a Life Orb Mon. They could Hyper Beam with Sylveon immediately. I guess Hyper Beam Sylveon plus like Life Orb Wave Crash from the Basculegion could threaten the Autono, but I think Dragapult's a really good lead that covers that because I can whisk the... Basculegion if necessary, and if they lead King Gambit, I can whisk the King Gambit as well, so I don't think this is a bad one at all for me. Okay. Do I want to whisk the King Gambit or am I light screening so I take the attacks from Sylveon? I think I'm just going to go for a Wisp into Gambit. I like the burn on the Gambit immediately, and I kind of like the idea of just going for... I think Hyper Voice KOs. Because I could Protect here. I think Protect is fine. Turn 1. Let's see. Maybe Light Screen was better because I do think Sylveon's a bit more annoying, but I don't know if they double up the Dragapult slot or not. I could see them doubling the Autono slot too, which is what makes this a little bit concerning, but I don't think I have a super safe mid ground. I could Light Screen if I think the double up happens to Autono. But if they double the Dragapult, I feel like I do need a Wisp in the King Gambit because those Iron Heads will hurt. But let's see. They go for Hyper Voice. I think I live Hyper Voice with Dragapult. We'll see. Oh, never mind. I am wrong on that. Okay. So Dragapult goes down. I kind of wish I brought Chandelure now because I think Chandelure would have been an insane spot if not. Kowtow, Cleveland. Oh, no, that's fine. I gotta go Overquill. I can't really go Malamar here, unfortunately. Do I think the Overquill is faster than the Sylveon? That's a good question. Because I might not need to get Trick Room up just yet. I think I stockpiled the first time and then go for a Simple Beam. Because the question is, do I need Trick Room up immediately? And I think the answer is no. I think I go for Simple Beam and stockpile immediately. I am faster in both of these Pokemon, which I'm not surprised by, which means Malamar is faster in both of these Pokemon. So I do think that not getting Trick Room up is actually the correct choice here. Hyper Voice does a lot of damage, but that's acceptable. I also don't want to minimize because if I minimize, that actually gives myself the odds where my opponent could actually... The problem with going for minimize is I could miss the Simple Beam, which would be really bad. So that's why I'm not going for it. Okay, I think this works out pretty well. Also, another play I realized I had is I could have Simple Beamed the Sylveon. Simple Beam Sylveon would have been heat to give it a Pixelate. Oh, that would have been nice. Maybe I should have went for a Trick Room instead. No, I think Simple Beam the Overquill is still correct. Because this is a simple beam in with the Overquill this turn and go for Protect. Yeah. I still think this is correct. The question is, do I want to Heal Pulse the next turn or do I want to go for Minimize? I guess that's a good question. But we'll figure it out when we get there, I suppose. Get a stockpile. So now we have +3 in the defenses, which is pretty good. We won't get +6, but +5 is still pretty solid. They land the Iron Head, which is not... Oh, wait, no. I keep thinking I haven't to minimize. I did not minimize yet. Calm down, James. Calm down, James. You're thinking a bit too ahead. Okay, we should still be good here. I can go for a... one more stockpile, or do I minimize this turn? I guess I can minimize this turn. Because I'm already pretty boosted. And then I think I'm going to go for Simple Beam into the Sylveon. Actually, I should probably Heal Pulse. I want to make the Simple Beam play, but I think Heal Pulse is always the safer one. We minimize with our Overquill, so we have +4 evasion. So we dodged a Hyper Voice, which is already a good return on investment. Autono goes down to a crit, but that's fine. And then Iron Head, we do dodge. So yeah, I think I like that minimize play a lot because we get to save a lot more health and now we could set up the stockpile a lot safer and we can now psych up here with Malamar. I do wish we were, I don't remember if the crit was the exact number to KO Autono. If it was unfortunate, but granted, this is still a pretty decent spot. I can go for stockpile and go for psych up pretty safely. Actually, it's a play to... Because Malamar gains speed when it Mega Evolves, right? It might be... No, I should Mega Evolve and be faster than the Overquill because if I'm slower than my Overquill, I'm not sure on the Sylveon speed. Because the Sylveon speed, it probably is slower than my Overquill, but faster than my Malamar or regular Malamar, so it's better to always go for the Psych Up Mega Evolution here. Even if I don't get the extra boost this turn, I think it's still 100% worth it. Because I can dodge still, and I have the extra defenses to take a Hyper Voice. And of course, Kowtow Cleave. Hyper Voice, dodge on Overquill. Okay, they do hit the Malamar, a bit unfortunate there, but that's fine. They go for Kowtow, makes sense. Okay. Now I think we go for Throat Chop into the Sylveon. because we do have access to Throat Chop to stop the Hyper Voices, and we're going to go for a Stored Power. I don't want a Superpower immediately. Superpower ain't a bad play here. Because boosting the stats for the Psych Up would be really nice. I think I'm going to just... The thing is, I might trace the defenses later on, so it might be better to get the damage into Sylveon. I think I'm going to Throat Chop plus the Stored Power. We see the swap here in a Charizard, countering the super... what's it called? The Superpower, which makes sense. We do get the Stored Power off in a Sylveon. Really good damage. Here comes a Throat Chop too. And now they can't go for Hyper Voice, so they would have to go for... like Hyper Beam if they want to get an attack off, which is great. Okay. Which is also a bit more inaccurate. Alright, we go for... I guess we should minimize the last turn. We should minimize this last turn on Overquill and just Psych Up with our Malamar into the Overquill. In case. Sylveon, I'm going to retreat here into Whimsicott. Gambit again. Okay, Gambit's nice. They Mega Evolve Charizard, that makes sense. I do think we're in a pretty good position with our boosted Mons, but I mean, Malamar, I'm a little bit worried about how much damage we take if the Charizard lands here. They land both, okay. Oh, we take nothing, okay. That was a lot less than I thought, actually. Okay, Psych Up. I think my best play, if they're not doing any damage, is probably just to click Swords Dance for sure with the Overquill. The question is, am I Psych Up again with Malamar? I think so. Yeah. I think I just I Swords Dance with Overquill, and I think I Psych Up here with my Overquill. Because I think resting with Malamar is actually going to be key, so I think that's worth it. Heat Wave. Okay. Double dodge. Psych Up once again. This strategy is always so dumb, but it's what we use here. Swords Dance with the Overquill. Kowtow is always guaranteed to land because it ignores evasion check, but now we can rest with Malamar, and what can they do? What can they do? So we're going to rest with Malamar while these Pokemon don't really have any offensive potential against my side unless they crit or burn or something. Well, they can't burn my resting Malamar. I don't care if they burn my Malamar. If they land the Heat Wave, just don't crit. And we're good. And we might as well boost up Overquill so it actually like one-shot stuff. Sucker Punch fails. Heat Wave. They double land Heat Wave again, which is like crazy luck, but okay. No crit though, which is all we needed. We get the rest off, and now Malamar will be taking a nap. However, back to full. Yeah, it's going to be really hard for my opponent now. And another Swords Dance for the Overquill. So now... do I think I KO everything on their team? I might not KO... do I KO Charizard? Like, really bulky Charizards could live. Oh, wait, I forget I'm simple, so I'm like +6. Yeah, no, if we just Throat Chop the Charizard, we're going to go for a... just burn a sleep turn, and then we should be good here. Weather Ball, they land. This Zard has glasses. Overcoat eats, though. I'm curious what their last is. Probably Basket Legion, I assume. Goodbye, Charizard to the Throat Chop. It does not live +6. +4, it might have. +6, I could not see it. Kowtow. Last one seems like Basket Legion by the way they're playing, but I'm not 100% certain. They doubled the Overquill. Or maybe they're just hoping for a crit with the Sylveon while I have a sleep turn. But Whimsicott, we should have the game locked if it's... well, I mean, they could crit. Okay, it is Whimsicott, but they can't Encore. They get 2-shot by the Throat Chop, so I always go for Throat Chop, and I always go for a... Psych Up or Superpower better here, because I don't have any boosts. I think it's just Break Sash on. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm guaranteed to stay asleep this turn still. I guess I'll just attempt to Psych Up the Overquill. They go for Moonblast. Fails. A very shocking, the Whimsicott reveals itself in the back here instead of an offensive piece, but it works out really well for me since I don't have to worry about Encore with the double darks. They keep going for Kowtow, it's just not doing any damage. Actually, that one did a bit more because it's a crit, but like as we see, like crit doesn't really change too much here with Kowtow specifically. Moonblast land and crit, now that's a different story, but we should be good. Now I'm going to go for Throat Chop, and I'm going to go for a Superpower into Whims, because I think Superpower should KO the Whims at this case, in case they do Moonblast crit my Overquill. Although, I think Malamar goes first before the Overquill, so maybe it was better to go for a different target, but again, I think this is fine. Kingambit's like nowhere near a threat. Even if it can land the attacks, they're not doing anything thanks to the burn. We just got to get rid of the fairies. The fairies are the only ones that can actually do damage output into me. And I'm not really worried about the Sylveon unless it's under Tailwind. They could go for the Tailwind now, but if they go for the Tailwind, that means Kingambit doesn't get a KO here, and then Sylveon has to double land, double crit. Let's see if they go for Tailwind and then they double land, double crit. They can protect, which is fine. It doesn't change any of the calcs here. Yeah, I guess I should just go for Psych Up then into... Or not Psych Up, I should just go for Stored Power here. Because, yeah, I'm out healing the Kingambit with leftovers. It's late just going to come down to Whimsicott and the Sylveon. So we will go for Throat Chop and Psych Up. Or not Psych Up, Stored Power. Alright. Show me Tailwind and then just don't get double crit. Okay, they forfeit, which I'm shocked by. I mean, the odds were really, really low that they would be able to win because landing the both attacks plus critting both of them are super unlikely odds, but I mean, they are odds. Gardevoir, Garchomp, Maushold, Kingambit, Incineroar, and Sinistra. Okay. This is Mega Gardevoir, probably. I don't think it's Mega Garchomp, very likely. It's probably Redirect Maushold. I guess it could be Population Bomb, so I do have to watch out for that. However, I don't feel like this is that bad of a lead, although Gardevoir is actually pretty scary. We will definitely bring the Overquill because Darkest Lariat and Incineroar can be a thing, and Kowtow, Cleave, Kingambit both are pretty annoying for Chandelure, so I am going to go with the... As much as I would like the Chandelure, it's just a resist to Gardevoir, I think this is better. So I think I'm going to go with Dragapult plus Audino, just a super safe lead in general. Bring the Malamar, go the Overquill. What's nice is with Overquill too, a lot of the Gardevoir standard movesets tend to be like Psychic Hyper Voice, and sometimes they have like Vacuum Wave, but otherwise they shouldn't be able to threaten my Mons after a Throat Chop, which is pretty big. So Gardevoir Maushold is fine. Okay. Versus Audino plus the Maushold. We will go for Light Screen here. And I like the idea of protecting because I should live a Hyper Voice. Yeah, I like the protect play because they're just gonna Super Fang Hyper Voice this turn. And I want the Light Screen, and I could also potentially bait them to go for the Encore the next turn. They have Encore. If they have Encore, then that means I can go for Trick Room safely because I do have the White Herb still, or not White Herb, the Mental Herb. So we do see a Follow Me come out from Maushold. Interesting, as we do get the Light Screen off. Do I want to curse the Maushold or do I want to curse the Gardevoir the next turn? It's probably the Mouse. Yeah, I do live the Hyper Voice. Huge. Wait, that's an interesting Curse Body activation. Okay. Very interesting Curse Body activation. I think if that's the case, my best place to go Overquill now, because I think they're unlikely to follow me here. And I can Simple Beam the Dragapult. I think they're either going to try to Encore if they have it, or they might try to Super Fang Psychic to Audino. So I think I'm going to go for this. That's really nice. Also, if they psychic the Dragapult, I'm in a really good spot. I don't think it's likely, but let's see. Switch out the Dragapult to go into Overquill, which should be pretty safe. Overquill's in a pretty nice spot here. Intimidate doesn't really matter. Nice. Perfect. So we do have Mental Herb. We are able to bypass this, which is really great. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do it again, so I can't like Trick Room here, but this is still pretty good. Psyshock. Perfect. Now we get the Simple Beam off into the Overquill and acquire Simple. So now we can go for, I'm going to go for a Minimize here because I think Minimize is actually pretty important because I want to dodge Encore in the future turns and we're going to Trick Room. If they Encore my Autono again, that means I'd locked in a Simple Beam, which means I could actually give Gardevoir Simple Beam, which means it can't go for Fairy Pixelate Hyper Voices. If they switch out Gardevoir, that's fine. This is out in the King Gambit. That's acceptable. They do Encore, which is, again, acceptable, as I said before. Do I get the Simple Beam into Gambit, or do I get the Simple Beam into the mouse? Either is fine. Okay, so the Gambit gets it. If it's Swords Dance Gambit, that's annoying, but they don't usually run Swords Dance ever on this composition. So now I can go for a... I think we want stockpiles now. And I'm going to go hard in a Dragapult because I would like to reset the Autono here. I could go hard Malamar, but I just don't want Super Fangs adding up from the mouse holds immediately without having already the defensive boosts. Like, it might be better to go for the other Minimize, but I would like to stockpile boost just in case. Like, if they go Gardevoir, I don't want like my entire plan being foiled by them hitting an Encore early. Nice. Nice dodge Overquill, and we will see the stockpile coming out. So that is +2. They go for Iron Head. That's fine. Now we can whisk the King Gambit, which is really nice because getting that burn on King Gambit's pretty massive. I have gotten one already. I think I'm going to minimize again. And if they Encore and they hit, I locked in the stockpile. That's not too bad for me here. So I'm going to go for a Wisp into the Gambit. Because when we burn the Gambit, it can't really do much damage at all to me. So I think that's pretty worth it. Then I could start either setting up screens. I could curse the mouse hold. There's like a lot I could do for this setup here. But right now I'm liking this driver's seat because mouse hold, even though it's kind of annoying for this team just because of Encore follow me for the Simple Beam, we were able to find a way to like, again, get into a position with the simple Overquill, and Overquill is now giving them a lot of trouble that it's allowed to do its thing, which is normally is very hard against like mouse hold stuff, but it's been working out pretty well for us here. We land a Wisp, which is huge. All right. Okay, they do land the Encore, and that's why like stockpile is fine to be locked into here. Because +4 evasion and +4 defenses is still really good. Iron Head in the Dragapult to take the knockout, that's fine. Do I want to go Malamar or do I want to go out into my... Oh, no. Both are fine. I think the play is just to go Malamar and not Mega Evolve, click Psych Up. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we're gonna go for Stockpile again, and we're gonna go for Psych Up in regular form because we're faster with Malamar here, or we're slower with Malamar than Overquill, but if I Mega Evolve, I'm faster than Overquill. So I think it's better to Psych Up here. I wonder if they follow me to try and avoid that, which is fine. Or if they're going to go for Super Fang. If they go for Super Fang, that's fine, because then I'm just going to be able to kind of blow up the rest of their team. I do need to get rid of Mouse Hold eventually, so I think having an offensive piece out is pretty good. But let's see. Because it might incentivize follow me, which is okay. Gambit retreats, this is Gardevoir. Did they click follow me or did they click super fang? Oh, they click protect. No. I think they were trying to hedge against superpower. This works out really well for me because I do get +6 with the overquill, and now I get +6 Malamar. So this is looking pretty good, although there are still some things that I do have to consider here. I will eventually have to get attacks off. That's the thing. I will eventually have to get attacks off. This is the last turn for Overquill. I'm curious if they're going to go for Encore now, but we will Mega Evolve this time. And we're clicking Superpower. Do I click Stored Power? Stored Power would probably blow up the mouse hold, I want to say. Actually, there's no guarantee. I think I'd rather just Superpower. Yeah, I'm just going to Superpower the mouse. Because it's like Malamar's special attack isn't that great, and even if we have boosted stored powers, it's not like from the Chandelure Calm Mind boost, so I think it's better to go for superpower because it will probably two-shot the mouse and it's still better. Okay, they go for Helping Hand, which is actually pretty good for me because like Hyper Voice, even if they hit, it's not like crazy. Okay, they do land on the Malamar. Yeah, perfect. And what's nice is they can Encore me into Psych Up now, because that was a play they did have access to, is they could Encore Psych Up, because I would probably be they would probably be psyching up one of their slots, which means I would go back to neutral on the defenses and go back to neutral evasion. So I'm really glad that they didn't go for that. Now I'm in a really phenomenal position because I can just go for Throat Chop into the Gardevoir and I can just go for Superpower in the mouse. It's looking really hard for them now because if they go for Follow Me, Superpower plus Throat Chop's pretty free. If they go for Encore into one of my slots, one, they have to hit it, but even if they hit it, like Malamar is kind of running a shop here, although the Gardevoir is getting a bit lucky though. I think that's fine still because I'm about to Throat Chop this Gardevoir, so Superpower does KO the Mousehold. Mousehold goes down. Throat Chop, prevent the Hyper Voice coming out from the Gardevoir, and that gives me more turns to go for Minimize or whatever I really want to do. It's looking rough for my opponent, let me just say. Throat Chop also does a good amount of damage to the Gardevoir with no investment, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's looking like we're running away with this game. Okay. Garchomp. Okay, I don't think Garchomp can do much here. So we're going to minimize and we're going to go for a... It's probably Gambit switching in. Kind of curious if I want to rest here. Well, they're going to forfeit because, yeah, it's like really hard for them to break through the Overquill at this point. They need to hit and crits, which, you know, is not unlikely, but yeah, it's looking pretty rough with two mons that are +6. And that is Mega Malamar. Yes, you do have to use kind of like cheesy strats in order to allow Malamar to actually be able to do something because its Mega Evolution isn't exactly the greatest. That's usually through setups, especially with the contrary setup, or through Psych Up, which is a move that it has access to. Rest wasn't as impactful, I think, as necessary, but it is still pretty cool just having that recovery on Malamar, and there are some cases probably in defensive matchups where it can really apply a lot of pressure, and we were in a situation where we could click rest probably multiple times in the game if we really wanted to, but was Mega Malamar able to do stuff? I mean, technically, yeah, with the boost. If you give it enough Pokemon a boost, yeah, it could definitely do something. And this team definitely super evil. I still can't believe the first game, though. I cannot believe I faced a random Clefable with Psych Up stored power randomly on that team. But you know what? I guess it played out for the rest. I mean, the team's evil. What can I say? Yeah, I'm actually going to ask you all, if you do want to try out the team, please don't. It is on the screen, but please don't. Otherwise, you can check out the details of the team down below in the description. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.